Okay, so this is going to be a replay review of a Gold 3 Loki. So off the bat, I will say Loki is one of the supports I've kind of played the least, so I'm not really gonna focus on trying to do like tips and tricks for his kit in particular, but more overall game sense positioning.
4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Okay, off the bat, this is really fun you get to here. One issue you're gonna have is when you're playing strategist, your positioning, you always want to be playing somewhere where, yeah, you can do you can do your damage to Loki. That's your kind of secondary role as Loki, is you're doing a ton of damage. Um, but the primary thing that you need to be able to do always is going to be able to keep your team up, primarily your front line. Especially with Loki, with your 3 clones, when you're like blasting your team like a tank like this with all 3 of your clones, this guy is like really freaking hard to kill. By positioning here, where you can't really see them, you're missing out on an opportunity to actually provide a lot of value to your team.
Okay.
As God needed new leadership, it needed me. The more the merrier.
Yeah, so you can see this whole time you're not actually able to see your front line at all. Like Fantastic, you can see him like right here.
Oh, I'm fine, don't mind me.
Yeah. The other issue you're gonna face is right now you're getting run down by literally their support, and you're actually being forced to use your shift here. Um, and Loki's shift is one of the strongest abilities in the game, but it has a very long cooldown. It should be your last resort, like your lifeline. You only really want to use it when you actually need to use it. Um, so because you positioned away from your front line, one of the enemies is able to just walk right into you without having to deal with your team first. And that's not something you want to be the case. Like right here, this is just a Loki. But let's say they have a Magic or a Black Panther or something, and they're able to just walk on top of you here without having to deal with your front line at all. That's a no-go. And in fact, not only are they able to just walk at you, but you're so far away that they're not gonna be able to help you at all. Like even if you're like communicating your team here and saying, "Hey, I've got a Black Panther on me," or I guess Loki in this case, but just think about worst case scenario. I've got a Black Panther on me. I need help. They're not gonna be able to help. Like you've got a Psylocke here, so they can help a little bit, but you've also got to deal with this Groot that's coming up too. So you want to be playing somewhere where you can help your team by healing them, and where they can help you. You can also see Fantastic over here is taking a decent chunk of damage. He's got Invisible Woman, but she's actually getting chunked out too. And Invisible Woman's ability to self-heal is limited, because she can only use her shield to self-heal, or she has to go invisible and do nothing to self-heal passively.
See you later. Invigorating, no?
What a difference.
I am.
So right there, I just want to point out very quickly, your Fantastic did die. Um, so actually, let's look at it. Let's look at him. I want to see Fantastic's perspective here. So you can see he's taking a ton of damage right now. And Invisible Woman is doing her best to keep him up. But it's just not quite enough. If you did have another support keeping him up, he wouldn't have died. You would have been able to prevent that team death. And in fact, he also got a kill, by the way. I believe they killed their Venom. So if you had kept him up, that would have been a pick for you guys and no pick for the enemy.
Invisible?
Come on, Loki. I'm not.
Alright, as a rule of thumb, don't walk a Groot with a wall, like right where your back's gonna be, because Groot walls do a ton of damage. And also as a rule of thumb, you don't really want to walk at their tank, as a support in general, like alone, especially with like their entire team backing him up right here.
We've been discovered.
Okay, so when you're coming back here, right now, you guys are down in numbers, right? So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, about to be 5 people on point, and you've got one, like that's like 1.5 because they're on the way back. Well, okay, let's say 2. 1, 2, 3. All right. So you're gonna be 3 versus 5 here. You're down 2. And your goal in this situation is to not let them capture this point. And because you're wiping them off the point is not an option, your job is going to be to stall for your team to come back in order to fight this together in a situation that you actually can win the fight. Now, right here, um, Loki is really, really good at pocketing one character. I mean, any support right here is really, you can do a great job of pocketing. Maybe not Adam Warlock or someone who has limited heals, but you, 100%. So what you want to do is you cross here, and because this wall isn't broken, you can tuck right here, and you can play in a position where the enemies are not able to immediately attack you, and they are going to be forced to focus on Mr. Fantastic, unless they, push forward and take the space, which they might do, but you don't want to give them focusing you for free. You want to make them have to walk over here and earn it. Um, but yeah, so we want to chill here. We want to focus on keeping our Fantastic up, because we don't need to be on point as well. And we want to stall as long as we can for our team to get back here and avoid taking any pressure here. So when you see this, you can see I know you usually use your lamp. So look where the enemies are all pressuring now. They're all looking at you because we walked out right in front of them. So now, Mr. Fantastic is actually still full health, and you're about to die being forced to use your lamp. Salak is chilling over here. She should be a little further up, probably. Um, but yeah, you're making it so that the enemies are focusing the person they want to focus easily. They don't. I mean, good players don't want to focus Fantastic. They want to focus you. So if they see a Loki walk out here, they're gonna focus you, 100%. Okay, so right here we're going for damage, and you can see that our Fantastic is about to die. This is a situation where I would agree with you and say that your focus on healing was a little off here. The other scenarios were actually not a focus on healing, rather you weren't positioned to heal in the first place. But right here, this is an issue where we're focusing on damaging where we should be healing.
Render me assistance. I outnumber you.
Feeling fantastic. You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Your powers are mine.
Okay, so the enemies have just captured this point right here. And you see the doors going down. They're gonna be walking this card out, right? You guys are down in numbers. So you, in this situation, you don't really have an immediate thing that you guys need to defend. Like when the point was under contention, and it wasn't captured yet, yeah, that's something you guys want to try and fight for with like everything you got. But the second that they captured this point, it's like, all right, guys, they got it. Um, and because we're down numbers, we want to back up and regroup. Because there's no thing that we need to fight for, and we don't want to fight right now because we don't have numbers advantage. They've got more people than us. So you see, Salak, I don't know why Salak's like way over there. But right now it's just you, Groot, and then there's someone. Your invisible one's over here. If you look, your Fantastic is all the way back in Far Spawn. He is not gonna be here for a while, and your Human Torch just died, right? So they're gonna be taking a long time to get back here. So you ulting here is not gonna set you up for a fight that you can actually win. And whenever you use your defensive ulti, You either are like you're using it to stall something, like maybe you're stalling that point in the situation, but the point's gone, so you can't do that. So the other thing you want to be doing it for now would be to actually like help your team stay alive in a fight that you believe you can win. And this is not either of those situations. You can see here, even though we ulted, the card actually still moved forward for a long time. We weren't actually standing on it. Now it's not moving forward. We do really get the kill on him. I mean, they shouldn't have ulted there. They didn't need to. And see, now we're actually, you've recognized now that hey, I'm not winning this fight. I'm gonna get out. That is what we'd want to do before you would use the Invisible Woman ulti. We want to recognize that it's not a winning fight, and that we do have the option of falling back. Right? There's not a point that's about to be captured. It's just progression on the payload, which yeah, you don't want to give them for free, but we're not in a position to contest that right now. So we want to fall back and regroup with our team. Okay, right here we are playing with fire, no pun intended. So your whole team is basically dead. You've got a fantastic that's going off on the side there. There's no one with you. I guess you're. Yeah, where's your Groot? Yeah, Groot's on the way back. You're basically alone here, and they have a Venom. Okay, so whenever they have a Venom or like someone who can close space very quickly, you need to kind of respect that when you're alone, because that is the kind of character that can just jump on top of you and kill you as a strategist. I will say Loki is very slippery. Like you can use teleports, invisibility, and shift to stall for your other cooldowns to come off cooldown to get away. But if you are going to be doing that, you need to like actually save your cooldowns for that. You can see you've used the evis here, and you've got your teleports on cooldown, and we're still up here fighting. Against a really good Venom, you're dead here, 100%.
Born again! I outnumber you.
Alright, so now you got your front line back. We're walking ahead of him here, though. I know the Adam looks very tasty, but the issue with this is that look where all the enemies are. Yeah, you got Punisher looking right at you. You've got this guy, I mean, he's not looking at you, but he should be. And there's an Adam that is gonna look at you in a second. So you're gonna, I think that's Loki. That's their Loki, by the way, as Adam. So this is putting yourself in a position where you're gonna be the focus of a lot of the enemy's damage. And you don't want that. You want your front line to be the focus of the enemy's damage, and you want to be helping sustain your front line. Not only that, but if when you're pushing up like this, the only thing that you can see on your screen is enemies. You can't see your team, which means you're not going to be able to heal. Like in order to heal your team, you're going to have to be like turning and looking behind you, right? And you can see that look, there's an invisible woman that definitely could use a heal. Again, Invis is not the best at self-sustaining her health bar. She has to go and basically AFK for a second to get her health bar back, or use her shield and on someone else and stay with them. And there's also look, there's a Venom. There's a Venom in your backline right now, and I know like Groot's full HP. She'll probably be okay, unless she walks into all this pressure. But you can't assume that all situations will be like that. You want to be in a situation where you are able to help your team stay alive. And then also back here, if you notice, hey, look, there's an Atom over there, and my team's okay, then you can blast him from right here. Like, right here would be a good position because you're also playing cover, like this guy can't see you, right? This corner is very good. You could also be playing like over here, because you know as Loki you can always teleport out if you need to. So if you're saving a clone, you could be playing here, and then oh Venom's diving you, you just or like Human Torch coming flying around, you just teleport over there. But up here is not okay, because here you're not in a position to help your team, and you're being focused too much by the enemies. Okay, so now Invisible when ulted, this is a time that you can 100% focus on damage, like assuming that your team is like in the ulti, because you know that anyone who dies in an Invisible Woman ulti probably made some giant error, or uh, you maybe like the Punisher rocket ulti killing through, but it's not gonna happen very very often. So this is a time that you can go for damage. But once this ult ends, you need to be like behind your team. Okay, so now the ult's ended, and we need to be behind our team. And you can see we actually managed to kill our Venom. Where did our Invis go? Oh, she's up here. Yes. Oh, she's like actually fighting a Human Torch right now. Oh, she killed him. Your Invis is the goat. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back a little bit, cause this whole time, let me see, let's go back to about here. Where is this? Yeah, so this whole time we're playing too far up, and the reason is this damage that you're doing. I mean, look, you're actually walled off here. This is looking to be very scary. What I want to do is I want to play this clip back from the position that I would think that you should be playing in. So I want you to see the difference. So we'd be playing back here of our Groot. We'd be helping break that wall. We could definitely be dealing damage still. We're in a very safe position here. That's where we die, right? So as Loki, you can definitely be spamming into them right here and be supporting your team. And I know they weren't taking much damage there, but they could have been. Of course, one of the reasons therefore they weren't is because you were up here being the focus of damage. You could also be healing Invis. Like, I know she's not somewhere you can see right now if you're playing this position, I'm saying, but she 100% could notice where you are and come to you for healing, and that gives her a much easier time. But yeah, you also had ulti up, and playing in a risky position like this is already in general kind of bad, but with ulti, it's like, it's game throwing, because your ultimate is extremely important. Like, defensive ultimates in this game are uh, super, super valuable. Um, so you do not want to make it so that your team is down a defensive ultimate for no reason for any specific fight. Okay, so we're down 2 now, and you have to assume they just saw you there. Wait, let me just show you. Right here, you have to assume that they saw you. 100%. This is extremely risky. Even if they hadn't like seen you immediately, if you're gonna do something like this, 2 things that you need to keep in mind are, one, that you need to have a way out and be absolutely sure that you're not gonna die. Like, you need to know for a fact, like, I know my limits as Loki, and I know if I have this ability and this ability off cooldown, then I will be able to get out 100% of the time here. And stick to that. And the other thing is you're on a timer here because your team is on the way back. So when they get back, you need to be in the correct position, ready to keep them up. Right? So this is not off the bat. I mean, it's a mistake because we were definitely had the potential to be seen. But even let's say that we weren't. Let's say that we walked over here without showing ourselves. Okay, so the issue I'd have with this is you should have kept your clone off cooldown. The reason being is that they have a Venom, and Venom can just jump up here and get on top of you, and your way of getting back out without dying, in my opinion, and being able to get back to your team in time to be in the right position when they get back, is going to be via a teleport. And we now don't have a clone.
I triumph again.
Jumping down here is this is I mean they're any normal team is going to turn behind them and just kill you, and then they will probably win the next point for free, or you'll barely get back in time to defensive ulti it. But the issue of this is you're playing in a position that is isolated from your team. Your team can't help you. You can't help your team. You have no way of getting to safety when they turn on you. You have like no way out, no safety net. This is a very, very bad position. Also, don't want to use your shift when you're full on health. That is the ability that you use when you absolutely need it. So using it before you're even taking damage is a big mistake. It's actually really funny getting that. Here's what I've been talking about before, though. So you see now your team is back fighting here, right? Let's put it back a tiny bit. All right, let's pretend that we did what I said, where we did our damage. We either killed Adam or didn't, and we used one of our clones to get out here, right? Okay, so right here we'd be healing our Groot, keeping him up, making it so he doesn't have to walk backwards. We'd help our Invis because she's critically low. We'd be continuing to help, keeping our team up. Okay, Groot should be walking forward regardless here. This guy is playing terrified. But you can see there's a lot of like that initial situation where, here, let me put it back a tiny bit. The initial situation where Groot was walking backwards because he was low on health. That also Invis. You want to be healing her the second she gets damaged. That's super important. Right here, we could be pocketing our Groot immediately and making it so he's seeing his health bar go half right now, and he's like, oh shit, I gotta back up right now. I gotta give this space. I gotta let them walk this cart down. Whereas if we were here pocketing him with our 3 clones, or I guess, that's another thing, is we would have had no clones when we got back here. We would have literally had no clones because we did it off in the flank. So that's already questionable. But this guy would be getting the heals he needs to actually contest the point. And because we're not here in time, he's not getting those heals.
Now might be a good time to stop them. Double KO.
I still need you. The more the merrier. You have my full support. Bless the healing arts. Render me assistance. I have many faces. Your power.
Okay, so during this whole time, let's see, right there.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop.
I want to point out we're gonna do alternate perspective again.
Them.
This is the position that I'd want you to be in right here. You can see from your perspective now. You actually can notice, hey, there's walls in our way. That one's ours. That's kind of interesting. But regardless, there's walls cutting us off from our front line. Who's yeah. So also as Loki, you can do a lot of damage to walls. So if your clones are back here and you're pocketing your team, you could also be breaking these walls, making it so they can get out very easily. Okay, see now we're off on the left here. We're continuously playing a little too loud. Holy, there we go. We're playing in the front, and we're not playing in a position that prioritizes being able to see our teammates. And I think that's probably your number one mistake this game, is playing in places where you can't see your teammates, especially your front line. You're playing in places where you can see enemies. You're doing, a decent job in terms of dishing out damage. But I remember you mentioned that you were saying that you're concerned about your focus on healing. And I would say I agree, but it's your focus regarding your positioning. Your positioning for damage. And you want to position for healing in a way that allows you to also do as much damage as possible. But it's like position, I need to first healing. Healing has to be perfect. And after I figured out where I need to be for healing, that general area, I can pick a more specific place to play that is good for healing and damage.
Judge, jury, executioner!
Again, I'll say inside invisibility, it's okay to play playing for damage. That's absolutely fine.
Supernova! I'm bright like a star.
But the second that all ends, we gotta be out of there. Like, I mean. Okay, so the ult ended, and we're still playing up here. See, right here. And not only, we also shouldn't be playing like reactionary in terms of like we see the ult end and now we walk backwards. You want to get a feel for how long the ult actually lasts. I believe Invis is 5 seconds. So you want to be already preemptively kind of walking back and being in a safe position when the ult ends. So this is both us neglecting the fact that the ult has ended and also not being ready for it to end in the first place.
Supernova!
And you say you've got oh, also you had a Frank Castle 1 HP on the left there. Did we not notice him? Hold on. Oh my god, we definitely need to notice the Frank Castle walking to our left here. This should be who you're focusing. Anytime a Punisher's ulting and he's not like invincible, you focus Punisher, 100%. I didn't initially notice him because I wasn't expecting a Punisher to be walking into your entire team in an invis ulti.
No. Invigorating, no. Render me assistance.
Wait. Okay, so right here again, there's a Psylocke to your right who's missing half our health bar. And what we're doing is we are walking forward ahead of our team. I know she, I think did she dash off at this second there? What'd she do?
Farewell.
Oh, she just went invisible. Yeah, so right here we need to be turning and healing her 100%. We can't just be like, oh, I don't know where she went. I'm gonna do damage. Okay, she's healed now. Okay, this is better. We're no longer ahead of our team, now we're next to them. But even better than this would be like actually behind them here. Like I'd probably say like on this lead. Maybe right here. Like you have clone maybe like on top of this thing. Maybe a clone like right there. And you can be playing right here. And if their Venom tries to dive you, you've got a health pack here, you've got your shift to play around, and this is definitely a position where your team can come and help you. So this is the kind of place you want to play because it has line of sight of your team and also some line of sight enemies here. But you also do, when you can, want to have line of sight that you can control, meaning like when you're taking damage or taking too much pressure, you can end the line of sight. You don't want to play like line of sight where, like here, where you have no control over it. Like if the enemies start to kill you, they're like, I want to kill that guy, where they can just walk forward and keep walking, coming around where they can see you like this. That is not ideal.
Your power
Okay.
Your powers are mine!
Yeah. I say the invis ulti's all right here. Where Groot's taking a ton of damage. If we weren't able to heal him otherwise, yeah, it's worth ulting to keep him up. This is definitely a much better ult than the last one because it is a fight that we are able to win. The only thing I'd say is you'll notice that the enemies are able to just walk away from you. And whenever you ult, you usually want to do it kind of in fights where your teams are committed. If the enemies are able to just walk away, then it's not ideal because the only value you get out of your ult at that point is any like initial people that you save. Um, so you want to try and find positions where you ult where it's like a committed fight.
I got you covered.
So right here, our ult's about to end, and we are currently standing in the front of our team again.
Anyone willing to help? Where am I?
And you see, we're actually having to look behind us to heal. Which that's the issue, right? And
Get in there.
yeah, it's just playing a little too aggressive. It's positioning too aggressive. We're positioning for our damage here. Let's look at the perspective of that position I was saying would be good. Alright, we're gonna go over here. I'm saying that I'd like to see us playing right here.
Don't step on
So we'd be healing our Groot. There's a lot of teammates that we'd be able to heal here. We'd be healing Invis, Human Torch, 100%. Our Groot's taking a ton of damage. We'd be keeping him up easy peasy. Our Susan, we'd be healing her too.
Let's cook some more.
Fantastic, we'd be healing him. These guys wouldn't have to be walking backwards right here. Like you see, look, your team has actually had to give a ton of space because Susan is working desperately to try and keep everyone up, and we actually died because we were playing in the front line over here. So it really, a lot of this issue you're having right now is going to be your positioning.
Bright like a star.
Okay, let's go ahead and look at attack. I know we didn't make any progress on attack, but I do want to still briefly look at it.
Ahead, I found them. I like to make fireplaces. Victory's hot.
Alright, let's hold on. Just want to go to the spawn room. Let's see. Where's your Groot? Where is your Groot? Is he not spawned in yet? Oh no, there he is. He's behind you.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2. All you need to do is capture.
Okay, I can see they walled us off here. You have 2 clones right here actually. You just break this. So you can break that in like 3 seconds with those clones. And a Groot helping you. You see Groot stays here. Everyone just go, okay, everyone just gives up on the wall. The main gripe I'd have about that is giving up on that wall is you just used your clones there, right? So you're giving up in your utility when we didn't really need to. Let's see. So again, we're consistently ahead of this Groot. I do think this Groot is playing too far back, but still, we want to kind of adapt to our teammates. So we just got a pick and they're at him. So again, we're at the front here. You can see we actually took a ton of damage there. We had to use our shift. Much better if we can save our shift to something else. And Groot was behind us and he was low. We need to help our boy out.
As it should.
In that particular situation, I still would like to see you going behind your team here.
Healing for my friends.
This can like I wouldn't peek the Atom because you saw him charging his thing, but it can be a little good here if you like tickle them a little bit and then walk backwards, just because you get their attention, and by showing yourself there, you're basically saying, hey, you're getting pinched from both sides here, so you have to give up on holding this angle. And then you can like they have to fall back here, so you can like kind of earn space. But beyond that, like you wouldn't be actually trying to kill this guy. Yeah, you definitely could have died to Adam there. And this guy has a shotgun, by the way. He could just turn you and go, you're dead.
Is suffering as it should be. That's a bad job. Time to vanish.
Okay, so your team's up 2 right now, meaning in this kind of situation, your goal as a team is to take space fast, right? So what you want to be doing is staying behind your team, not risking dying at all, because dying here would be super bad. And you want to just be helping heal these guys and pocket them as they push in and just take all the space. Because with 2 men up, you should you have a I mean, you should definitely be getting the point. There's no way you don't get a point here. Okay, this is probably the biggest mistake that you make right here, because this is what completely shuts down your team's giant lead. You guys are 2 men up, and we are continuing to play our kind of frontline position here, which is I would say that's the consistent mistake that you're making. And it's actually gonna cost you guys a lot. You're also 62% ulti, and Cloak's only 39. You see on the left here. So you are going to be the first one to ult. And as a bonus, all right, I want to mention on attack on push maps where it's like you capture a point first. Whoever gets it, if you get a defensive ulti first on attack and ult into point, like into where their backline is, you can win the point so fast. And if you look, it's not always going to be the case. Like sometimes there's nothing you can do. The enemy got their defensive ults first, so they'll be able to match yours. But oftentimes it's worth ulting in and taking space with your team to brawl for the point. And if they don't have a defensive ult, which in this case they wouldn't because they have an Atom, and their Loki is only 18% ult charge right now. So if you hadn't died here, what would have happened probably is I think your team would be easily scaling up. You'd be hawking these guys, right? La da da da. You literally just walk up. There's no way these guys do enough damage to kill you because you're pocketing them. You can test the point. Da 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 da. Either you get kills and it's just like you snowball and win it, or they manage to stall and the team comes back. But then you defensive ult because you've got yours first. You have a cloak ult, so we cloak ult and we win that fight before they have the chance to match your defensive ulti. So this was looking to be a wipe, and us dying here is completely shutting down our chances. Because pushing in here is still possible with Cloak and Dagger, but it's much, much, much harder and much less of a guaranteed win of a round with you dead. Win of the point, I should say, not the round. And you can see now, these guys are trying to get in. Moon Knight's taking a ton of damage. He actually dies. We could have healed him there. I don't know what Cloak was doing. He was taking a ton of damage. We could have been pocketing him. Yeah. But now you're back. Now we're back, but their whole team's alive now, right? So we went from being a 2-man up advantage and having basically a guaranteed win on the point to now an even 50-50 duel. Okay, we got a pick on their Punisher. That's huge. Okay, where are we?
The more the merrier. Your powers are mine.
Okay. Wait. Did we mean to click Ella? Let's see. No, I see. You meant to click Cloak, right? Okay, I'm gonna be optimistic, and you know, let's not be optimistic. Let's first. If you meant to click Hella, don't click Hella. Click Cloak because you on attack here, it's not a guarantee that their Loki doesn't have ult and can match you, but taking that chance and ulting in with the opportunity that maybe their Loki doesn't have ult yet, or just forcing him to use his defensive ulti to match it to get out of the way, and taking space here with your team of Cloak ult is super, super good. So we would definitely want Cloak ult here to take space. Being optimistic though and saying that you meant to click Cloak. Yeah, I get it. REP. There is a setting I want to show you real quick actually, to prevent this exact situation. Settings, keyboard. Okay, here we go. So if you go to Loki here, you'll see that there is a setting called double confirmation for God of Mischief. And what this does is it makes it so that when you press Q on someone, it will give you like a confirm or don't confirm option. And where it's left click is yes, I want this ultimate, and right click is no, I don't want that one. Don't ult. And so this can be really, really, really useful if you are ever having that happen where you click the wrong person. Very useful. It also allows you to click on the person that you want to ult and then walk behind a wall and then use the ult after, because it'll like stay on your screen for like 2 or 3 seconds. So this is very useful. I would consider turning this setting on, and it's off by default.
Your powers are mine! Unleashed!
I would probably focus the Loki clones up there in the top left.
Thank me later.
Alright, this is our trademark mistake. I guarantee you fix this and you will see major improvements. We are consistently walking forward in front of our team here. Like okay, here's Groot. This guy, if you only have one tank, positioning should be super freaking simple. It should be behind that tank. Somewhere where you are able to heal this guy consistently, right? And you can see there's still opportunity for you to do damage, and breaking these walls, by the way, is super, super good. You want to get these out of the way. Obviously focus on healing teammates first, but if you have like opportunities where your team is full HP after you've healed them and there's walls sitting around, just break these. Like, get them out of the way. See, that wall is very scary. You notice it's doing all this damage? Look. It slapped the hell out of your Hela. It's also been slapping your Groot. I think it's also hurting your clone. I don't know if they can hurt clone. I'm assuming they can. And let's go back to your perspective for this whole time.
Oh, I'm fine, don't mind me.
So meanwhile, all your team is dying. We're frontlining here. I see we're pocketing Human Torch, but we need to be focusing on frontline, keeping them up, and also heal Human Torch when they need it.
Nice. You're quite welcome.
I also will say I like how you're aiming of Loki. The actual mechanics is good because his little particle thingy that he shoots, it doesn't have any damage on the actual collision with a character. It just makes a spell field, so there's no advantage to actually like directly hitting them with it. So aiming right where their feet are is perfect. So that is good. Keep doing that.
You're quite welcome. My thanks.
I hear you're shooting the body. You shoot the feet, if possible. Like shoot his toes.
Guys. Time to vanish.
Also, just to mention, the reason you do that is because if you shoot at the body and you miss, the particle will fly off into the distance. But if you shoot at his feet and you miss the feet, it will still land relatively close to them and do a chunk of damage. The particle does do, I think, less damage based on how far away the particle center is from the person that you're dealing damage to. So it's ideal to try and hit their toes. But still, it's better not doing any damage at all. Also, quick note: the healing doesn't have fall off though. So if your teammate is not like close to the radius of where you hit the blast, it doesn't matter as long as they're within the circle of the spell field. It will do the full heal.
Oh, I'm fine, don't mind me. I still need the spark. The more the merrier.
Yeah. So this whole time we're We're just playing too far in the front. Also, I don't agree with our Cloak ulting here because our team is really far back. As Cloak, you want to be ulting when your team is like actually there to fight. So I know that wasn't you, but just for a frame of reference of how you'd want to be using your Cloak ult, you want to use it on attack here. You want to use it when your whole team is up, or like you have more team up than the enemy does, and you use it to go point, contest point, take site, dive their backline. One more thing I want to mention about ulting actually is also it's if you can saying that you're ulting is very important. So like if you have a cloak in your team and you're using cloak ult, whenever I main cloak, so whenever I use cloak ult, I just say get in cloak ult. Like it's super simple, easy to understand. Make sure that you do it where your team is actually able to get inside it and just say get in cloak ult.
Judge, jury, executioner! Born again!
Holy crap.
Triumphed, as always.
The issue you're having right now is 100% where you're positioning. It is consistently too ahead of your team.
Supernova!
Alright. So this is our last fight here. At this point, we should be holding tab. Right? We see, okay, we've almost got ulti. So this is looking like we have last push where our plan is we're going to be cloak ulting into point when we see the opportunity to. Okay. Oh. Okay, again, we're standing next to a Groot wall. We don't really want to, we don't want to use our shift here. Yeah, especially because if you think about it, we're probably going to be ulting in a second, right? And so we're going to use cloak ult, we're going to get in. But when that ult ends, we're going to be on point. And either we'll have won the fight outright, we'll have killed them, or we're still going to be contesting the point. And if that happens, you want your shift off cooldown so that your team has another giant piece of utility to be able to contest the point with. So you don't want to use it here. And we're playing too far up. We're playing next to our Groot, not behind him. See, Cloak is like right behind you. This is much better where Cloak is. You know what's funny is Cloak actually makes a mistake here, right? You see, she was originally playing a much better position, right? She walks forward. She could have died there, 100%. See, and now she's at like 1 HP. And now I will go back and discuss. We nearly have ulti here. We're playing very safe, right? Right now we played in a position where we weren't able to fall back, and we get nailed by, I think we're getting nailed by a Punisher turret right now. And we actually die while trying to press our ulti for the last fight here. And that is what's going to cost you, because we've actually died in this is the second situation we've died in where we were looking to be able to take this point. Well, Loki Lafi-san, thank you so much for replying. I hope this helps. If you have any questions as well, you can feel free to ask as well. I'll also include a text document that will list the specific things that I think you should focus on. But yeah, thanks so much and have a good day.